It's still set up. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session of the professional teachers. With me here is Ms. Onyeka. Ms. Onyeka is a banker through and through. A banker that just walked into the school system and decided I want to be a teacher from nowhere. And that I looked at her, I was heavily pregnant with my second child. I looked at her, I said, this one banker, inside teaching, from where to where. And what struck me was she kept coming back. Miss Kogi, what do I do? Miss Kogi, one day she came, she was with a very serious face, but the sound, the sound of her voice, I felt like this one will burst out crying any second from now. But she was like serious. And what kept me tripped with her, this human, she did not stop. She pushed till I was praying that God, when would my child enter this woman's class? She's somebody that I trust as a teacher. I know her personally. Someone that I can go into her kitchen and take all the food and finish eating. But she decided to run away from the town I'm staying to go and stay in that town. I'm still trying to forgive her. So everyone, this is Miss Onyeka. Miss Onyeka, over to you.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We will need to unmute our mic at some point. I love hearing voices. And I want to say thank you, Miss Kogi, for giving me this platform. And I really, really want to thank you. You didn't capture the whole of that story about how I started. You didn't tell them about me bombarding your house, even when you had your baby, to make sure I learn and steal and take your lesson plans and worry you about EYFS curriculum and what I'm supposed to do with it. You didn't say everything. So I want to thank you for those days back in 2016. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so today we'll be talking about the key stage 1, and we are talking about creativity. And I'd like this platform to be interactive. So I don't know if anyone can share what they think creativity is to them, what it means to them, and what role or what part creativity, plays in their classroom. Anyone, please? I'd like it to be interactive.
I will call names. So
That would be nice if you can. It's too quiet.
I see. I see that Miss Fola is on transit. Let me. Yes, once I know Miss Grace.
Miss Grace, please go ahead.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. So, my name is Miss Grace. I'm a year 2 teacher. All right. So, to answer Miss Onyeka's question, in my classroom, I feel creativity is when you can think outside the box, is when you can make do with the resources, or you can also create resources that make your learning makes your learning hands-on, fun, and engaging.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I could hear
Yes.
you. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, I like your own idea of creativity. Does anyone have anything to add?
Okay.
Anyone else? Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
For me, I see creativity as a way of making learning fun for children, bringing
Okay.
learning to a fun way, and making it interactive and involving for
Mhm.
every child.
Okay. Okay. All right, Miss Kogi, I'd like to hear your perspective. What do you think? What do you think about creativity?
Creativity is not okay. Sorry. Okay. Creativity is not me having a boring classroom.
Okay.
Creativity to me, bringing play into your classroom,
Mhm.
allowing the children to bring out who they are.
Yeah.
For me, that is creativity.
Okay. Well, to add to that, I'll say creativity is.
Sorry. For you know that because of the uniqueness of the way I've taught, the last time the way I defined creativity is different because of the nature of children. So the next time we are going to do this for secondary school and upper key stage two, I'll also define it in a different way, just so that in case that so people are saying, but this is not what she said last time.
Yeah. I like the part you added because as a teacher, the creativity you bring into your class will depend on the age of your children. So your understanding or what you'll do with creativity for key stage one, it's going to be totally different from what you're doing with an upper key stage two, with people in the secondary school. And it's definitely different when you're teaching the tertiary institution. Now, looking at creativity in key stage one, we are talking about these children that have left the early years with the idea of, depending on the environment you find yourself as a teacher, they've left their this space where they can play, where learning isn't so much about coordination, where learning is fun, depending, that's why I said depending on on where you are teaching, the school you found yourself. So this place where learning is a bit how do I put it now, learning is moderated, it is timed. Now, as a teacher, you're thinking of what ways can I bring out the best in these children? What ways can I make sure all those ideas they have don't die? Now, I have this PowerPoint on, and we are going to follow it to talk about creativity. I'd like for us to maybe note down any questions we have so that at the end of the slide we can ask our questions, and I'd also like, for there to be contributions at the end. So I'll start. So we're looking at understanding the importance of creativity. I mean, creative integration in early childhood education. Why isn't this moving? Okay. I don't know why my slide isn't moving. Okay, I don't know. Can we still see this slide?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So, introduction to creativity in education. Integrating creativity in education system, especially early years, nurtures holistic development and lays a foundational stone for future learning. Emphasizing creativity in key stage one fosters essential skills that prepare children for a dynamic world. So now we are looking at a class of children from, maybe if you're lucky, you're teaching in an international school, children from all over the world with their different education. Some of them may have English as a first language. Some of them may not have English as a first language. Some of them may have come from different schools, some of them from different multinational backgrounds. How do you merge these young souls? How do you bring out the best in them? Usually when I get new children for the first school year, I'm wondering, how much do they know? How much do they understand? What is their own idea of play? What is their own idea of sharing? It can interest you that, for me, that first month is usually a measure of how can I put these souls together and get the best out of them. And every dynamic teacher is going to be thinking that these children are not same. You are not allowed to put them in a box and box them in there, because you think that's, one size of it all. No. So it's important that we are looking at skills, their unique skills, each and every child's unique skills to bring out the best in them in future. Now, creativity definition. In education, this refers to ability to generate ideas, concepts, solutions. It involves using imagination and critical thinking to innovate and express oneself. And this is crucial during early years development for building problem solving. Now, we are looking at creativity in a class of children, from 5, 6 to 7, depending on when they are born. When if they are late born, that means they enter your class, for key stage 1 when they are maybe 6, when they are or 5, depending, and to year 2 when they are 7, or when they are almost turning 8. Now, creativity is new ideas. Don't box them in. Don't give them the one size fit all. And then at times we think creativity is only when they are writing or painting. No. How do they use, like Ms. Grace said, the resources you have in and outside the classroom? How do you allow them express themselves? Do
Miss
they
Onyeka,
play
let me
art?
interrupt you a bit. Sorry, please. Miss Joy, you're sharing your screen. Please, can you stop sharing your screen? Miss Joy Beauty, can you stop sharing your screen, please? You see, stop sharing. Please stop. Miss Joy, please click on stop sharing. I'm asking that because Miss Onyeka is already
Regina, I
sharing her
think from the
screen.
back end you can disable.
Okay, let me see. Okay,
Okay,
Miss Onyeka, continue.
okay, all right. So I was saying, let me say, critical thinking for these children, it's beyond, like reading, then painting. It should be how resources in classroom is utilized, resources outside the classroom is utilized. When they read, is there deeper understanding? When you ask them to maybe act out a role, do they bring their uniqueness into acting this role? If you have a math genius in your classroom, how do you make sure what they know extends beyond what you can give them? How do you encourage them? All this is creativity. At times we as teachers, we have time. Oh, it's time for maths, it's time for science, it's time for English. In those time during the day that we have, how are we making sure these children are getting the best out of themselves? How are you creating creativity? How are you bringing it out? That's very important, because it should be about them being able to innovate, being able to express themselves, being able to gradually become independent minded people who can solve everyday problem in a unique and dynamic way. Now, importance of early development. Early childhood is a critical period for fostering creativity. Research indicates that children exposed to creative environment exhibit enhanced cognitive abilities, emotional intelligence, and social skills, which significantly contributes to their overall growth and learning outcomes. Now, I don't know how many of us are familiar with the EYFS curriculum. It will amaze you to know that before it was called the EYFS, in Europe, it was different thing. For example, in UK here, it was called the Open Air Nursery School, and it was pioneered by the Macmillan sisters, Rachel and Margaret Macmillan. They were the ones during the war. They were the ones who wanted a way for children to be happy outside their home, because it was a very poor time for the UK. And children, once they were 8, 9, they were allowed to go work. And the younger ones were living in the worst environment ever. These two came out with how children can be happy, how to bring out the best out of them. And then they call theirs the open nursery, open air nursery. Now, Maria Montessori, it's a familiar name. In short, most schools will tell you, oh, we use the Montessori system. That's another interesting thing because she looked at children holistically, and the fact that each children were different. Even children of same parents didn't have same abilities. And what drew her to children was, the special needs children who most times was neglected by the society, how to bring out the best. The Maria Montessori or the Montessori equipment as we know it today were initially made for children with special needs, like children who couldn't hear, children who could only communicate by the things they can do with their hands. And this has been integrated into education today. All this over the years had made sure that early years development is key. And if you look at the countries with the best educational system, when you go back to their early years, they're fostering everything a child can bring on board in terms of creativity. Oh, you like molding? Go ahead. You like to draw? Go ahead. You like to bring things together, make bricks, whatever, go ahead. And that's why at times we might be thinking, okay, so why are the latest invention, from maybe people from Europe? And that's because they've had this system over the years that allowed them to create, to think outside the box, to be themselves without any hindrances. And this is what we need to bring into our classroom. Each child is unique. How can I foster their uniqueness? How can I help them be better individuals? And let's not forget, the foundation we give a child determines who and what they will be in their later lives. Now, we're looking at overview of Key Stage 1. Now, Key Stage 1 covers ages 5 to 7 years in the UK and in most countries that use the EYFS curriculum. During this phase, children transition from play-based learning to more structured educational experiences, making it essential to integrate creativity to maintain engagement and motivation. A class that is motivated is a class when you enter. I remember there's this thing Miss Kogi would always say about one, how do I put it? One view, or how, when someone comes to it, the word is rolling around in my head, but it's not coming out. Mr. Bruce, those days he came to observe your class, yes. And I remember you saying that, oh, you were worried because the children were noisy, they were everywhere. And at the end of the day, he told you they were noisy because they were engaged. A quiet classroom does not indicate that children are learning anything. If at all, it may be that the children are just not interested or they are not motivated. It's a different thing when the noise is from children throwing paper, throwing chairs. It's a different thing when you see children, obviously with heads together, they are talking away, they are happily writing, they are happily doing something. That's a class you want to have. Because in that interaction, they are feeding off each other and they are bringing out the best out of each other. We should always keep that in mind. Now, benefit of integrating creativity. Integrating creativity into early years education yields significant developmental benefits. It enhances cognitive abilities, improves social skills, fosters emotional expression, and cultivates problem-solving skills among children. Now, a class where you have children who know that they can freely express themselves. Those are children who can maybe walk up to you as a teacher and say, today this is how I'm feeling. and you're able to talk that child out. Or they can meet their parents and say, oh, I maybe I woke up or this and this maybe happened. And then they're able to comfort and console each other. The idea behind this is the fact that at that age, they're forming friendships. They are, let me say, they're expressing themselves. They are realizing that I have someone I can talk to. I have someone who may have a better idea. I have someone I can have a little solace in. It may be in your own little way. It may be a word as little as, oh, don't worry, tomorrow will be fine. Or, oh, don't worry, maybe, this and this happened to dad and mom. That's why they're feeling whatever they're feeling. But something that's building. The world is going haywire today because people are beginning to think they have no one to talk to. If you're in a classroom where your children can't relate with you, then there is a big problem. If you can't be their confidant, then there is a big problem because they are watching you. You are their role model. They are learning from you. They are feeding off you. So if you have things happening to you in your personal life and you're bringing that to the classroom, the children are going to think it's okay to wake up sad and bring it to school. But if they see this teacher that nothing phases, this teacher that has a smile for every one of them, they are going to wake up every day and think, oh, this is another day. Things have happened, but I can look forward to this day. There is someone waiting for me with all joy. And that's problem-solving skills at that young age. Now we're looking at cognitive development. Creative experiences stimulate critical thinking and cognitive flexibility. Engaging in artistic activities enhances memory retention and promotes advanced reasoning skills, leading to improved academic performance in later years. Now, it will amaze you to know that people who have been in an environment where who they are, what they are, is encouraged are the ones who can go up and be fulfilled independent adults. They know that whatever happens, they are the best version of themselves. They are confident in what they can do and in what they can achieve. But if you've come from an environment where what you stand for, what you know, nobody cares, everyone is trying to put you down, these are the people you feel they are not sure of themselves. Even when they are right, they would never say. Even when they have something beautiful, they would never give it to you. And this is experiences. Experiences matter for children. Experiences, even as adults, the things that form us are the way we grew up. The acceptance, the level of acceptances we had, the friendships that we made that were important, the learning environment that encouraged the best of us. Now, let me give you from a personal perspective. Growing up, I was all sciences. And then I got to SS2. I had let me not use the worst math teacher. I just had a math teacher who was not interested. And that killed it for me. My physics, my chemistry, I was so good at those. But I had this teacher, my biology teacher came to me and said, Onyeka, when it comes to your biology, your writing, everything is good, but you can't draw to save yourself. And that's because the early years education I had, when you're drawing, everybody thinks you're joking. You must be joking if you're drawing. Nobody encouraged drawing those days. You just have to be a doctor, or a lawyer, or something, And he was the one who told me, you need to rethink. Luckily for me, I had other social sciences subjects, and I had to remove chemistry, and then I had physics because I insisted my physics was that good, and biology and government. That was what saved me. If not, my WAEC would have been, Onyeka, you would pass physics and chemistry, but you woefully fail maths, because at that point, I just disengaged. Just one teacher. One teacher. So imagine, that is the power we as teachers have in the life of children. We never know it, but go back. I'm sure each of us, if we've had classroom experiences, there is that one child who looks up to you as a god. There is that one child who believes that if they didn't meet you, everything in their life would have gone down the drain. We should have that at the back of our mind always. There is someone looking up to us. Now, social skills enhancement. Creativity encourages collaboration and communication among peers. Participating in group creative projects helps children build essential interpersonal skills and foster a sense of belonging, reducing social anxiety. So you have this one child who would never talk. You pair that child with a child who is talkative and you give them a project. You'll be amazed at what they will come to. You'll be amazed at what they'll give you. And that's what a classroom should be. The classroom shouldn't be organized in such a way where only those who knows what they are doing and are in a space, and those who do not understand are in one space. Yes, there is a reason why we have middle, high, low, but in learning, in doing things, there should be that equalness so that everyone is gaining, everyone is enjoying the time they have. Emotional expression. Creative outlets allow children to express their feelings freely. Artistic activities can facilitate emotional literacy, helping children process complex emotion and cope with stressful situations. Now, when a child comes in sad, what can you do to help them let go? What can you do? What do you know? What activity do you think that child can be engaged in to help them let out how they're feeling, to make them happy, to make that day turn around to be from a sad one to a good one? These are things we need to be finding out. That is why we, as much as we call it a classroom, it should be a happy room. It should be a creative room, and it should be an engaging room. Problem-solving skills. Engaging in creativity fosters innovation thinking. Through creative problem-solving tasks, children can learn to approach challenges from different angles, enhancing their ability to devise effective solutions in various contexts. Where you are attuned to your classroom, you will find out that the way A will solve a problem is certainly different from the way B will solve the problem. We should be encouraging that. That's what makes them unique. Teaching strategies. Integrating creativity into teaching method enhances student engagement and learning outcome. Employing various creative strategies, educators can foster stimulative environment that nurtures essential skills in young children. Now, teaching, when it comes to teaching, everyone have a different way they approach it. How I will approach teaching will be different from how you will approach teaching. But the most important thing with these strategies should be ensuring that these children, they are communicating, they are learning from one another, they are bringing out their different ideas, they are enjoying being in school. If you have children who don't want to go home when it is time, when it is the end of the day, then you are a very good teacher. You are an interesting person. But if you have children who don't want to come to your class, then I think we need to rethink your strategies. You must be doing something that needs a change. I've had, I've had stories of children who, when it is time to go home, everything is over for them. They're wondering, why am I going home? Why can't I stay here? When it is time for holidays, they want to come to your house. That means you're doing something. But if you have children who can't wait for the bell to go, for them to go, sit down, re-strategize, start looking at the children, start trying to understand, what are they enjoying? What are you missing? What do they want to learn from you that they are not getting? That would help. Play-based learning. Now, most times when we say play, a lot of people think play is maybe when they are playing with the mud, when they are playing with the sand, when they are writing, when they are drawing. Play goes beyond that. Play-based learning, a child could be reading. Have you ever seen a child who is reading, and as they are reading, they are trying to act out what they are reading? That is learning. It's play, but
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
learning. That is a child who maybe one day their artistic expression will be so much they become one of the great actresses. Have you seen a child who says, "Oh, just give me a paper," and they're making something with the paper? They're cutting and they're
Yeah.
shaping it to something awesome. That is play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is learning. Have you seen a child put sticks together and they're telling you they are building a house or they are making something with the sticks? Now, a lot of times we as parents, their parents will tell you, "I don't want my child playing." But what they are missing out is the ability for that child to be better. Now, the difference between organized and developed economies and economies as we have in Africa is this simple difference. Here, whatever I am is important. In Africa, whatever
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be, that's what's important. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
And that's why here, a lot of times, it's not as if they are into, getting all the master's degree, all the PhD degrees, but they are making and forming something from their uniqueness. Someone will come and make
Yeah.
something. Before you know it, everyone is buying into it. It's solving everyone's problem.
Mm.
But for us, we want to just go to school. We just want to be that doctor, that lawyer. And at the end of the day, what's it solving? We just have doctors, lawyers who are not adding to the economy, who are not making any difference. And we should start rethinking. Our approach to hands-on activity should be the go-to. Children shouldn't just sit and learn. They should be doing something at every point. They should be doing something. They should be creatively engaged. And you'll be amazed at what that interaction can do for them. Now, art integration, we can't talk enough about art, but then there are people who will tell you when I want to when I want to solve a problem, I have to be doing something with my hand. It could be molding, it could be cutting, it could be painting. At times, it could even be reading. That's it. That's art in all its form, in its several forms. It gives you that calmness, that ability to be whole, that ability to forget and like think coolly, think calmly, look for solutions. Those are things that we should be encouraging in our classroom. Collaborative projects. This encourages teamwork. Is there teamwork in our classrooms? Do we say, "Oh, all the most knowledgeable one side, all those who understand it in the different, in the middle level one side, all the low, well, let's forget about them. They can never be anything better." The Bill Gates of this world, those who made it in the world, when you look at the academic level, they are those people think they couldn't achieve anything. They won't have been able to achieve anything. But in that silence, there is an active mind. There is a mind waiting for someone to take a second look. There is that mind waiting to be discovered. There is that mind waiting to be nurtured. Be that teacher that sees what others can't see. Very important. Very, very important, because that is what makes the greatest individuals. That one person that gave them the chance no one was willing to give them. And in every class, there is that soul waiting to be looked at, waiting to be nourished. So put them together, bring out the best in them. I'm telling you, Miss Kogi, there's this your child that has written a book now. I think the Egyptian girl, right? I'm sure.
No, Lebanese.
Is it Lebanese? Okay. But
Nancy. Yes.
you also have Sama, your Egyptian girl who came in with
Yes.
no English,
Yes.
with no English.
Yes.
I'd never forget what that child was able to achieve in the space of 1 year and what that child is still achieving. That's it. I'm sure wherever that girl goes to or where those children go to, they would always remember there is this teacher that saw what no one else saw. And that's what we should be aiming for in our classroom. When you have children who can think for themselves, who can do everything for themselves, please don't make this mistake of saying, oh, they don't need your care. They still need your care. But then it won't be as much as that particular one who feels neglected and rejected, who just wants someone to see them. It's important. Use of technology is unfortunate that a lot of our schools are just, we are all about theory. The practical aspect of it is not there. I can tell you from what's happened to my child here in secondary. He's made a phone stand in one term, and then in another term, he's cooking and bringing home and cooking deliciousness, and he's a boy. And I'm wondering, I said, like one of those days, I asked him, so this thing you cook, what was the name of that? What Spanish food he made? So he had to dice the meat and all that. I said, so what?
Lasagna.
Is it? I think it's lasagna. I forgot it, but I ate it. Oh, it was delicious. I just didn't put the name in my head. I was asking him. So they gave you a knife. He looked at me and said, he said, Mom, your knives are not sharp in this house. I'm like, someone lets you. And he was like, of course. And I said, okay, so when you were leaving the class, I mean the classroom, he now said, oh, you have to sign out. You have to sign out everything you did. Everything that was given to you. So if they gave you a knife, if they gave you anything, your name is written against it. And then once you're going out, you have to hand over those things. That way, children are not taking anything out to go harm
Yeah.
others. And that's a boy. He called it, the name of the subject is food and technology. That's what they call it, food tech. At that level, do you understand? Now, it's not about I'm going to school, I'm just going to learn math, English, and physics. There is the practical aspect of it. It's so sad that a lot of our schools are just there. There is no practical lab to do anything. But that is why we have creators in this side of the world, because at this young age, everything is encouraged. If you love cooking, start it now. If you think you love carpentry, start it now. If you think you love painting walls, like we call it in Nigeria, we'll just say painter, he just painted. You will be amazed at how much these people earn to just paint one side of the wall for you. These are ways to encourage children to be the best part of themselves. When they are in the classroom, whatever resources you have that can support their learning, use it. They are not there for decorations. They are not supposed to remain unspoiled, untouched. If they're going to break it, let them break it. As long as they're not purposely breaking it, as long as they are learning, let them break it. If they are outside, whatever resources is available to them outside, please encourage them to use it. They will get dirty. They will get muddy. They will even hurt themselves once in a while. But you know what? They are learning. And that's what matters.
Yeah.
Then successful creative programs in Key Stage 1 helps illustrate the benefit of creativity in early education. With real life example, we can see the positive impact students' engagement and learning outcome have. At the end of the day, a child who has been allowed to fly, you can't compare that child to a child who's just rote learned, who has just learned because they need to learn.
Yeah.
Outside that, you ask them life skills they don't know, apart from maybe what they know from reading, anything to do with their hands, anything to, if you pose a question to them that needs them to think, they won't think, they'll just give you everything word for word from the textbook. Then that's not learning. That's just rote learning. They're not learning. If anything happens and that's not the system of education, that child will never thrive. And that means that child hasn't learned anything. Now, creative programs, help. And these are things schools can implement. Yes, I know as teachers, where you are just in a classroom of yourself, there is little or nothing you can do. And that is why I'm going to, say it again and again. Whatever you've been given as resources, use it. Whatever you have in your classroom, if you can even borrow from another classroom, from those, God help you, they are not using theirs, go borrow it, use it.
Mm.
Because you may find yourself in a part of the world where, creative programs or whatever doesn't ever happen. You are just there to teach and you go, you get paid, and that's it. Whatever resources you see around you, please use them. And then you can never compare to the outcomes. Now we have educations in the world like Sweden. Sweden is the number one in terms of education. And if you watch their early years, you'll be amazed. They are not at the age of 4, they don't go into school till 4 like the UK, 4, 5. But at that age, even when they do go, is an environment where nobody's interested in, they don't even see paper. They are out there when the weather allows. They are exploring.
When
They are
our owner writing 1 to 1,000.
no. That's the funny thing. Like for the times I came in, my last child is late born. When I took him to where he's supposed to go, when already in Nigeria he would have been in reception, they said no, he's not yet 4. He turned 4 after September, after August 31st. Yes, it's August 31st. So I took him to a nursery. I had a very good laugh the first day. Those children were just in their rain boots because that day it was raining, and they wore their rain capes and they were out there. Those who were building with sand, those who were doing whatever with stick, they were out there. And I asked them, how long is this going to last? And they told me this is 1 year of doing whatever they like till they go to school. At that point, no one is teaching them how to sound the letter of the alphabet. No, who sent you? No, they are just being children. But when I was looking and seeing, it was the interaction among the children that was interesting. You will be amazed at how they were telling each other to build, the cooperation to make something out of nothing. It will wow you. You will bring a child who can read your 1 to 1,000, like Miss Kogi has said, and you will bring the interaction. That child with the 1 to 1,000 and reading everything will be lacking. In this part of the world, you're not just going to read. If you do not have a deep understanding of what you're reading, they will move your reading level backwards till you can read it and give it life. So these are that's the difference in our academic and educational system and the levels. Here is all about what you can do. That thing you're saying, if I ask you to write it, will you give it wings to fly? Or will it just the level of writing? If I ask you to read a book and give it maybe a different ending, a new story, can you do it? The outcome is not something if we are going to compare outcome, we might spend the whole day. But then those outcomes, when you know what you're doing, you know. Now we have teachers who have already known the impact, the usefulness of creativity. Like I said earlier, if you have a classroom where the children, when they are running into your classroom in the morning, you'll be wondering if you're sharing party packs, then you're doing something good. But if you have children who are reluctantly walking in, who are screaming when they're walking in after like a term or is an everyday thing, and then when it is time to go, they're happy. Now this is different from children who are attending school for the first time. When children are going to be leaving their homes for the first time, they will throw a tantrum, they will bring down a school building. But for children who have been in a school system the first year, the second year, they should look forward to learning, to enjoying their day if you know what you're doing. If your classroom is an active and a living classroom. That's important. Now, barriers to integration, we can also say, recognizing obstacles. Yes, like I've said it. At times we are looking at this different, beautiful presentation I'm giving, and at times we don't even have that. Remember, I've said over and over again, it's not about having everything. It's about making use of what you have. 30 minutes of a creative class is everything compared to a whole month of no creativity at all. You can schedule, oh, okay, I've finished my learning for today. What can the children do? Let them explore. Let them
Mm.
bring on their ideas. It could be 10 minutes. It could be 20 minutes. And you consistently build that. Believe me, you will have a class that will be next to none by the time the school year is over. Just that little drops, they really do make a mighty ocean. Really, really. Now, yes, we have curriculum, but then if you found yourself in a school where the AYFS is the thing, then curriculum constraints isn't a problem. As against the COG, till today I tell those who work, I'm so sorry if anyone is in maybe secondary, government secondary in Nigeria, but I keep saying it, we don't have any curriculum. We have the curriculum of the 80s. There is no place where anything is, creativity is not encouraged. It's just that rote learning. But if you are in a school where you found a curriculum that is vibrant, that is, that is different, that is unique, then use it. Explore, like, how do I put it? Explore ways you can make it rich for your classroom.
Mm.
Explore ways you can make it matter. Don't be limited by what you see in that curriculum. Let the curriculum be a guide to, opening doors of opportunity that brings in creativity at every level in your learning, in your teaching. Really, it will help. And then resource limitations, I've said that over again. That's the situation we found ourselves. Like I said, you find yourself where you can go borrow resources is in the same key stage group. I'm going to use my dearly beloved Abuja Prep, where we can go into each other's class and then we are borrowing resources. You find yourself in such a place. You find those who are keeping theirs like it is classroom decoration. Please go borrow. Yes, go borrow and use it. It's nobody's personal money, right? When it breaks or anything, please kindly explain to the school board that the children were actively using it. And if you have class dojo and there is pictures to show what those things we are doing, I don't think anybody will question you. As against having a classroom that is the same year in, year out, the children are just there. They just come sit on their desk, nice and quiet, and then they go back out, nice and quiet. No, borrow it, use it, in and out, use what's available to you. Now, assessment challenges. Another thing we have, where we have assessment. Assessment, it's time for assessment. It's time. There is a test. Also, most times we are teaching because at the end of the day, the children have to write a test. The children
Mm-hmm.
have to pass their test. Then that
Mm-hmm.
is what drives us. Please, let's have it at the back of our mind. That is exactly the same thing that is killing the creativity in children. Now, I have countries like in Finland, it's the teacher, your class teacher that tests you. There's no outside assessment. And it is the number 2 best education in the world. No one tests you outside. It's your teacher that would determine what your test will be. Like I said, there are some things we cannot change. While we are thinking assessment, please, let's also make sure that the assessment does not kill the creativity. We are not so driven by assessment. We are forgetting that the children are supposed to be actively learning and be active creative thinkers. It's very important. Then staff training. At times we are waiting for when they say, oh, there is a training. The best thing you can do for yourself is actually learning. And there are sites, millions of sites you can check where you can learn something new and you're not paying a dime for it. The truth is, what we learn, no one can take from us. Even
No.
if we need to pay a little to learn something, most times we are what we are driving for is that certification. Leave the certification. Do that training because you want to learn. What is
Yeah.
the new trend in education? I want to know it. How best can I support my class? I want to know it. How can I be a better version of what I am? I want to know it. Then it will make sense to you. But if you're going to be looking at, oh, training is because they want it, that means you're going to be stuck in the past. The world would have moved on and you're still where you are.
Yeah.
Learning is a continuous process and we benefit when we learn. Now, some of the solutions to overcome these barriers is, how do I put it now? We can, design where we can, like I said about curriculum, look at how best your curriculum will work for you. Don't work for the curriculum, make the curriculum work for you.
Yeah.
Make it what it should be. Read it, understand it, look at your classroom, look at the children you've been blessed with that year. Fine-tune that curriculum and make sure that curriculum works for you. That's the best thing. And don't be stuck in, there are people who says, oh, today we are learning about let's say
Plants.
how to sound ah, and what the letters of, all the things that represent ah, that is all they are going to do. How about making an ant?
Hmm.
And the children make the ant with a paper, and for the rest of their life, they will know when they see ah, there is an ant involved because they made something out of it. Or they're learning something in maths. They can maybe put something together, fix something together, and they would never forget the concept. Each time they remember that thing they did with their hand, the concept comes to life for them. Those are the areas we should be driving. Flexible curriculum is important. That's why I've been emphasizing, make sure your curriculum is working for you, not the other way around. And then funding opportunities, these are for maybe for school heads. Then I have said about professional development. When you develop yourself, when you spend time, when you spend money developing yourself, ultimately you're the one who gains. Ultimately, when they say, oh, we need those who have made impact, who have left their marks on the sands of time, you will be proud to stand tall when you're called. But if you're stuck in where you are in the past, please don't ask questions where everyone is overlooking you and keep, and yeah, exactly. Don't ask, why am I not progressing? And everyone seems to be progressing. To be different, you need to do something different.
Yeah.
You can't follow the crowd. You cannot follow the crowd. And then when there are opportunities to partner with people, partnership in this in this sense could be, you identify that teacher who seemed to be doing it well. There's nothing that says you can't steal ideas or nothing. In my place, we say those who ask for the way, they don't ever get missing. There is nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong when you go and say, look, I noticed that whenever we do math, your math class is active and vibrant. What do you do? That's learning.
Mm-hmm.
That's cooperating. And we learn from each other. No one is an island. It's only a stupid person or a stupid individual that sits down and says, I know it all. No one knows it all. And what you learn is added to you. No one can take it away. As against not
Mm-hmm.
learning anything.
At
You
all.
find that person who knows what they are doing, who brings the best in that particular thing, and you feel it is lacking. Ask questions. Learn. Tell them, can I come observe your class? If you can, observe. And then make changes, and you're developing yourself as a teacher, and that's important. Then role of parents. At times it's difficult to have parents coming on board, but in this part of the world, anything any child is doing, there's always that parent involvement. If you're blessed with a class that you have parents who are not asking you questions because they want to check if you know what you're doing, but they genuinely care. They want to add to what your child is learning. Bring them on board. Use them so that your child is learning in school and their child is also learning at home. If you have that parent that that feels that this child is so good but not getting that support from home, call that parent, tell them what you're doing that is working, that is bringing out the best in them. At times parents need convincing, but if you're telling them same thing and they're seeing result, I don't think that parents will not come on board, except if that parent is not that child's biological parent. Because I know for a fact parents want to see their children thrive. They want to see their children be the best of them. Don't call in your parents only when their child is in trouble. Call in your parents when you know that. Even if it is one tiny thing, celebrate it.
Yes.
And as you're celebrating it, that child is thinking, wow, I'm a superstar. And you give them wings and they
You want
fly.
to do more.
Yes. But if the only time a parent gets called in is when something goes wrong, when you have to tell a child of, then there's nothing you will ever do that they will listen to. That tiny achievement, blow it out of proportion, and you'll be amazed. You'll have parents who are your, partners all the way. Yeah. And then that would also encourage creativity at home. When you tell them, oh, this is what I'm doing, can you please replicate this at home? This is how I do it. You'll be amazed at how some parents want to be involved. Then community resources when they are available. If they are not available, make use of what you have. Then partnership with local artists. These are things that can happen here, because most times you have school people coming in to partner with schools. Where you have such partnerships, you're blessed. Where you do not have it, that is why I said, look for partnerships within your school, within yourselves. Grow within yourself. When you're able to go out, that's fine. You can't go out within yourself. Don't be left behind. Don't be stuck in the past. Grow. Look for that teacher who is not ready to make jest of what you don't know. Or who, because yes, as human beings, we can be funny. You go asking for something, and then before you know it, oh, Miss Onyeka doesn't know anything. No, she came to my class. Unfortunately, that can happen. But you see that person who understands that you're just learning. Enjoy that partnership and use it. In short, the word is exploit it. Thank you. I exploited this convener today sometime in my life. Yes, Miss Kogi. So conclusion, exactly, yes, I exploited you at one point, and I have no regret, because at that point, like you said, this is a banker who had done banking for a few months to 10 years, coming to come and do teaching. I'm sure, like you said, you were waiting for me to, to just, give in and say, look, this is not what I'm used to doing. But you know what? Like I said, when she put to bed, I went to her house. See, when I'm carrying the baby, I'll be telling her, oh yeah, what am I doing with this one? What am I doing with this? She came back to, and I continued. I have no apologies. It made me better. And I learned. And that's the best way to learn. When you are not ashamed to learn, you will find people who are willing to pull you up, who are willing to help you. But when pride comes in, then it becomes a problem. Then a conclusion, it is essential to have an active class. We cannot talk about it enough, because at the end of the day, we are talking of cognitive skills, social skills, emotional development in children. We are looking at play-based learning that is important for the children, and that is addressing barriers and fostering community support, which is very important to success. Now, it's important that we have educators, parents, and people who are interested in education, who are making sure this creativity is integrated into our learning. And like I've said over and over, where you don't have this, use the resources available to you. Don't be limited by what you don't have. You'll be amazed at what you can have when you simply look, or when you ask. So, At this point, I would say thank you. And if there are any questions I'd like us to ask, thank you very much.
I'm not ready for you to stop talking. No.
Well, I was beginning to think I was talking too much. Well, but then
No, no.
it's how do I put it now? Creativity is it's something that is dear to my heart. But then thank you,
Mm.
Ms. Kogi, for this platform. So questions from
Thank
anyone,
you
please.
also for coming. As you're preparing your questions, let me quickly say I remember we're talking about creativity. In fact, I didn't know it was creativity as at that time. But one thing I did at one time, those that were at Abuja Prep remember my village day.
Mm-hmm. I'll
Oh,
never forget.
I had it for like 3 years running. Every particular time within the school year, we had the village day. Now, the topic was in geography when we were talking about villages in less economically developed countries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are these are Ajabotas, some
Mm-hmm.
of them foreigners. Many
Mm-hmm.
of them have never been to their villages. They don't
Never.
understand. And now we are talking about it. They're looking at pictures, and it was not it was not sinking as I wanted it. So what did I do? I took permission from the school, and that day in year 4, it was village day. In the morning, the children will come to school to sell early morning markets. Those that will tie pure water inside nylon. Remember our pure water those days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those that will tie Fanta, Coke inside nylon and put in and freeze it. Some of them ask ideas from their parents. Some of the ideas we also brought there within the
Mm-hmm.
school. Those that will bring oranges. One year, one woman gave her daughter plenty egusi to come and sell. But we allowed the children to bring in things to sell, banana, all sorts of things. Now, I had a focus in that for that lesson. First of all, the first focus was making them experience a village market, early morning markets.
Yeah.
Usually, those markets, that market did not last up to 30 minutes. It's usually people that will come late, they'll be looking for markets. The market was done. Then I had them talking about persuasion, bargaining, because I would tell them, make sure you are selling it expensive. And if you are going to sell it, let people ask you, especially the teachers will go and bargain. Oh, this thing you are selling 100 naira. Can I buy it 50 naira? And I was going around and listening to them bargaining, and it was fun. Then the third one was mathematics, because there was buying and selling going on. So you will pay, they will pay, and then you will not think of how much change am I giving.
Mm-hmm.
So it was and then there was communication also in it. There was collaboration, because two people, I'll say, okay, two of you have similar products, merge together and sell. So you
Yeah.
see, it was a full lesson in less than 30 minutes. Then after that morning, we go up, we'll come back to do village assembly. We attend normal assembly like every other person, but we come in our village attire. My co-teacher then, Mr. Mine, used to be the village headmaster. Me, I'll be the village mother that will come and drag my daughter from the assembly to go to the farm, or that will bring a child and say, sorry, teacher, he's just coming from the farm. Normal village affairs. Then after that, we'll have different activities. Sorry, sorry, tales by moonlight, where we will stay in the hall, put off the lights, and then make only one spotlight and one place. We got one of
Mm-hmm.
our teachers, it was Miss Lizzie, then that will always be the old grandmother
Mm-hmm.
that would tell the story. Then after that time, we now had dancing, local dancing. It was usually a full day. It was stressful for me. Sometimes, okay, I ask the parents to also bring in local foods, which we share among ourselves there.
Yeah.
So, but learning always went on. And I remember the year I left Abuja Prep, one parent called me and said, She doesn't, I don't know, she doesn't know how I'm going to do, but I should call her child to beg the child, because the child was looking forward to coming to my class because of village day. All of a sudden, I left the school. You understand? So creativity, like she said, and I always tell teachers, do something that when you leave a particular place, you will always be remembered for that one thing. Do something that other children, even if they are afraid of you, they still want to go to your class. I was one of the most feared teachers in fact, not the one of the feared teacher, the only feared teacher at Abuja Prep. But people wanted to come into my class. Why? Because they know that when they come, at one point, there is always fun. Creativity is always fun, and it always helps your lesson. It always helps you that your lesson will be learnt. I think that's what I want to see. Yes, your lesson at the end of the day will be learnt if you infuse creativity in what you're doing. Thank you again, once again, Miss Onyeka, for this. You're not supposed to stop talking. I don't know why you stopped talking, but it's okay.
Is this
I
supposed to
forgive
be an all night?
I forgive you. I don't know. I don't care. All right. Please, does anyone has a question? Miss Onyeka is here to answer. No question.
Yes, Miss
Miss
Grace,
Grace.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, Miss Onyeka. I have a question. This is Ada.
Okay, hi.
Okay, you said something about sites that a teacher can actually go to.
Yeah.
Miss
And
Ada, pay before I will tell you. Pay. Miss Ada, pay.
Miss
For you,
Onyeka,
you
Miss
must
Kogi,
pay.
yeah.
Miss Ada, for this one, you will pay. Forget it.
Tell Jesus help us now.
So, me, you must pay.
Miss Kogi
Now,
now.
I'm sorry, Miss Ada. You have to default to Miss Koge because she's the convener for this thing platform.
Hey,
But
hello,
really, no, but
people.
really, there are sites you can get. I mean, you
Yeah.
can go to without you paying, and you're learning really, and you're learning for free, and it's
Okay.
helping you be a better teacher. Really, there are. And Miss Kogi, before I left, was my usual go-to for those sites.
Okay.
Really, yeah, really. So you can private chat her. Don't mind her
Okay.
and her pay. She's always
Yes.
like that
So,
with me. And she's always like that with me. Miss Kogi, forgive me, but yes, there are
yeah.
sites you can go to. There are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Honestly, although I came in late, I want to
Mm.
say a very big thank you. I really enjoyed. I wish you could just continue the session,
You
Ah,
see,
or maybe give
you
us
see,
a summary of the beginning
you
of the
see,
beginning.
you
Yeah.
I
see.
think
For
I
those of us
think
that
Miss
came
Kogi
in
has
late.
Okay,
recorded this.
because of time, we're going to do it this way.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hang on,
she's
because of
recorded.
time, we'll do it this way. First of all, it's recorded,
Mm-hmm.
so
Okay.
as usual, I'll put it up on YouTube. Then
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
again, I don't know if Miss Onyeka, if you please, if you permit me to share your slides to whoever needs it. I don't know if that's okay with you.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fair. Absolutely
Thank
fine. Yeah. Yeah.
you.
Yeah. No problem. Miss Grace, sorry, your hand is raised. Please, sorry.
All right, it's
Miss,
okay.
sorry, Miss Grace, hang on. Miss Oika, I don't know if it's okay with you. Can I share your slides later?
Yes, yes. I said it's okay. Yes, please. It's
Okay, I
okay.
didn't hear it.
Yes.
My network was
Yes.
bad. Okay, then.
Okay. Yes.
Then
Miss
for
Grace.
the sites,
Yeah.
within the week, I'll try and make a post and I will drop all the different sites possible that I
Mm-hmm.
can lay my hands to for those that want sites to learn one or two things. I will
Okay.
drop them.
Okay.
Okay, Miss
Mm.
Grace,
Thank
please.
you, Ma.
Miss Grace. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Once
Good
again, Miss
evening.
Good
Onyeka,
evening, Miss Grace.
Mm.
thank you so much for this presentation. It's an eye opener. There's a lot of take home for me personally. I want to say thank you. God bless you. I'm really privileged to learn from you again. I know one big thing I learned from you, and it has actually helped me in Abuja Preparatory School, is punctuality. Yeah, yes. I really learned punctuality from you, and I have to say thank you for that. All right, so now back to my question.
Mm.
Personally, as a teacher, I try to, make my lesson a whole lot of hands-on, make it fun and engaging. But I think one thing we tend to encounter is the time constraint.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so can you please enlighten us on how we can manage the time? Because you might want to do a lot of hands-on,
Yes.
letting the children express themselves, but they have to go
Yes.
for a specialist lesson, they have to
Mm-hmm.
go for breakfast, they
Yeah.
have to go for
Yes.
playtime. So
Yes.
how do
Yes.
we tend to manage all this so that because the curriculum is all encompassing, so one
Yeah.
area doesn't suffer. So how do
Mm-hmm.
we manage this?
Miss
Yes.
Grace, you want to take my one of my next month's webinar today?
I'm sorry, Mama. No, no, no. It's not
So
intentional.
Miss
No.
Kogi, that's your next month webinar.
Yes. But go on, please. Go on.
Okay, no, okay, but I can, like, briefly talk about this question you asked is very important, legit very important, Miss Grace. Like you said, one of the things we face as teachers is that time constraint. So the best way to tackle this is, if you've been allocated a 45 minutes to a class, right, and you're looking to make sure that class is engaging, the best way to do it is look at the lesson plan before time. Let your day be, let's say before that day, look at the lesson plan. What do you want to do with the children in your head? If you can allocate the time and give, like max 5 minutes over what you want them to do. So let's say in that 45 minutes, you can, let's say, look at maybe plenary, maybe, the introduction to the lesson, because it's going to be an interesting one. How about keep the introduction to max 5 minutes? Yes, there will be people who will not get it in that 5 minutes. But the thing is, the time they will spend doing it themselves, doing the hands-on, trying to get the maybe if it is the day they have to do any work activity about it, the time they will spend, let's say you do it this way, from introduction, then you go to the hands-on activity, give it a 15, give it a 15 minute, so that and then you can divide the children into groups, so that you're going around, you're seeing what they are doing, and you're listening to them. You're also encouraging those who can ask questions to ask questions. Now, if you feel they've gotten it, you can go. If there is an activity you've already prepared for them to do, to write, you can give it out. There's always that 1 to 5 children who will finish it in 5 minutes because they understood already.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Let those ones, instead of them to sit down and distract others, they finished. Look for something else to engage them in. If there is a higher activity, give them 5 minutes to go back. And then you can quietly take them back to the corner and they're continuing with their hands on. Now, the tendency is when children see that, oh, this activity, we are going to learn, there's going to be a hands-on activity, and even though there is something to write, to do, we will finish that and we still go back. You will see there will be children who will be paying attention in
Yeah.
that 5 minutes you're introducing it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, what happens to children is that you're talking and their mind is somewhere else. But if they
Mm.
know the kind of activity that can take place in your class, through this, before you know it, you see that first 5 minutes, they are giving it their attention and their all.
Yeah.
Because then when you give them activity, they will also be the first people to raise their hand to say, this and this is,
Yes.
this and this I don't understand. Can you please
Yes.
help me out? Because they want to go back to that hands-on. They don't want to be left out.
Yes.
And then your plenary could be that time where you are interacting with them again and where they are interacting with you again. I don't know if this helps, Miss Grace.
Yeah.
Over time in the time I spent with children, I noticed this works. When they know there is that thing they can do at their own time, you will be amazed at how fast they'll go. You'll be amazed at how well they are listening, because there is something interesting to go back to. I hope that helps.
Another thing that works for me, there are some, depends on your group of learners.
Mm-hmm,
There are some things that when I want to do, I don't even introduce.
mm-hmm,
For
yeah,
instance, if I'm doing measurements,
mm-hmm,
uh, if I'm doing a measurement in capacity, for instance, that's how much a container can hold water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't introduce that lesson. Why? Because
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
If we're doing measurements of length, I don't introduce that lesson. It takes a lot of
Because
time.
it's
All I
because
do
it's a
is
bit abstract.
yes. So I give I group my children. I'm always grouping my children. Then I say this group measure here, measure and write down what's you measured. This
Mm-hmm.
group. Sometimes even I've even measured done measurement of length where we went to measure the field,
Mm-hmm.
the playground. So people were
Mm-hmm.
measuring with tiny 10 cm rulers. So people were measuring with 100 cm meter, yes, 1 meter rulers. So people were measuring with this long tape, this carpenter's tape, builder's tape.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't introduce that lesson because of the time constraints, So and then when we are talking about weights also, I don't introduce letter. I just drop it down as everybody measure. Then when you are done measuring, then we can now talk. What did you notice?
Mm-hmm.
And then I start keep on asking whatever question that I want to ask. Then they eventually get to write, and then they have
Right.
their homework to go to. So sometimes you don't need to always conform to the norm. Mr. Bruce
Mm-hmm.
will say, you don't teach the children. You have to understand that your children teaching children. So everything is just like you. Also, if you're going to a particular place and it is predictable,
Mm-hmm.
you as an adult you get bored. So if you are
Yeah.
predicted and they know that when it's about smart time, they know how you sound. When it's English time, they know how you
Mm-hmm.
sound.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes boring.
Mm-hmm.
You have this one or two children that will be acting out.
Mm-hmm.
Come into this class one day and start singing, and then they will join you. But sing, if let's say I'm talking about English, maybe a particular sound, start singing with that sound. And then what did you notice about this song? You start with, okay, so today we're going to learn a story. And then you just keep saying the story. And then just at a particular point, say if you keep on, there's a particular sound you will keep on hearing. If you hear that sound, clap. Before you are not telling them what sound it is. Before you know it, so don't please. Mr.
Conform.
Yeka said
Don't
something
conform.
that I always, 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 always say. Be dynamic.
Yeah.
Don't be boring.
Yeah.
Don't the one that a child will pass through your class.
Mm-mm.
When the brother is passing through your class, they will say, "Don't worry, at this point, Miss Grace will do something, something, something like this," and the sister will come and say, "Do you know that thing you said? Miss Grace did it."
Did it. Yeah.
That's boring. One thing
Mm-hmm.
that when I was at Abuja Prep, my children, if I graduate a particular class, I have a new class now. The previous sets will come in and they'll be crying. Oh, Miss Kogi, this class is finer than it used to be. You did
Yeah.
not know our class like this. And I'll look at
Exactly.
them. The ones in the class will be feeling happy, and I'll tell them, don't worry. When you leave, the ones you will still come and say the same thing to the new ones. Why? I need my class to be something different. So something for the children to look
Look
forward to.
forward to.
Every term, change it.
Yes.
In fact, for me, say sometimes in a week, I can change the arrangement of my class 4 times. Even your lessons. Sometimes, okay, today we are learning math. We're learning math outside. Huh? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Line them up and go outside. Learn math. It's something different. It will stick. So
Okay.
that's the creativity. So, but you really need to, as she said, maybe Onyeka said, you need to manage your time. You are working with 45 minutes. What am I going to do in 40 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
Tell yourself your lesson is for a 40 minutes lesson, not 45. That 5 minutes is is for settling down, marking book and everything. So you are actually teaching for 40 minutes. What am I going to achieve in 40
Mm-hmm.
minutes?
Yeah.
And then work with that time. Don't tell yourself, you're not working. In fact, sometimes I tell myself my lesson is 30 minutes. So if I spill over, it's okay. If I don't spill
Yeah.
over in 30 minutes, I should be able to teach whatever I'm teaching. After
Yeah,
30 minutes, but
exactly.
some of these children, after 30 minutes, you lose them. They are
Mm-hmm.
not there anymore.
Exactly.
And then now when
Exactly.
you start having a rowdy class.
Exactly. And another thing that is important to note is you may have math, English, geography, biography, whatever for the whole day. When you look at your plan for that day, there is that subject you can teach in 15 minutes and you're done. Use
Yes.
that time for other things. There's nothing that says because that class is 45 minutes, you must spend 45 minutes doing the most boring things. Two other things. Use it, look for that project that the children are looking forward to, and it looks like it's going to be difficult. Manage that time, put it there, and that's creativity, already playing out. When your children know that every day is going to be more interesting than the day before, they look forward to it. If it is just going to be 40 minutes English, 40 minutes math, no one wants to go to a class like that. If they know there is spice, some unknown spice the teacher is going to bring in into the day, then it is a day to look forward to. That's what we should be thinking, really.
Thank you, Miss Onyeka. Miss Grace, are you okay?
Oh, very well. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Kogi.
Mhm.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Miss Onyeka. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other question? Big Bella, any question? I did not call your name. See, as you've told everybody who. All right. Thank you, Ms. Onyeka, once more. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
this session. I hope you know that you will come on again sometime, maybe next year. I don't know, but get ready. I'll
Don't
find
worry.
something to pin on you again.
Okay, if you're going to be pinning anything on me now, Miss Kogi, that means you're
Mm.
going to be pinning something related to customer service. Like you said, I've gone back full time to customer service.
No way. No way.
I'm sure everybody here will be surprised. Yes,
No
we. I'm
way.
actually working. I'm actually working towards going back to customer service,
Well,
full on
that's not
back.
any problem
You
with
were the
me.
one who put that idea in my head. So if you're going to be doing customer service and education, then bring it on.
Well, we've actually,
No,
for those that
no,
have
but
been
I'm
with me
not
from
leaving
the
education
beginning.
entirely. I'm not leaving education entirely. No, no, I'm not. I'm not. It's
No, no,
just
but the thing is,
in,
okay, uh okay, for some time you were not we missed our contacts, but I've had different sessions on this. Those that have followed me closely would know
mm,
I'm not just doing strictly education. I
okay.
have done customer service relationship actually for teachers. I've
Mhm,
done marketing for
mm.
teachers.
Yeah, I've
So
watched those
because
videos. I
I
have
have,
watched those videos.
so because I realize teachers just think that it's all about teaching, but
Mm,
there are some little things that you can bring into the teaching space that you think do not matter. So
that they
yeah,
do.
if you like, go into baking. If you like, go into clothes making. If you like, go into driving. Don't worry. I will always find
Mm,
something to pin on you. Don't worry.
okay.
It
No,
is
but
me.
I think I'm actively doing online teaching too. So don't see, I didn't I'm
Don't
not leaving teaching.
don't worry. Whether you are leaving or not is your headache. All right, everyone. I've had a lovely time today. I hope you all have too. I'm sorry I would have
Mm.
Miss British is saying thank you to you, Miss
Thank you.
Onyeka,
I
for
can
taking
see.
time
I
to
can see
listen.
that. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being
Uh,
here, and thank you for giving me this time to come talk to you about creativity. Thank you.
I've had fun. Thank you everyone for coming, for showing up. I will let you know when the next one is. Still, we're going to have two again next month. Next month is her birthday, Miss Onyeka's birthday next month. In case you want to send a birthday present, please, I'm collecting birthday presents on her behalf. Cash is preferable. I
That's
don't know
good.
what you guys are talking about, but cash is preferable, please, so that I can easily send it to her. But if you cannot give cash, I collect clothes and cake and, and
And tickets
perfumes and
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 tickets to Dubai.
and tickets to Dubai. I collect those too. All right. Thanks, everyone. Please
Thank
enjoy your
you.
evening.
Thank you.
Good night.
And everyone enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Enjoy your evening too. Thank you so
All right,
much.
bye. Thank you for
Good
being here.
night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thanks,
Bye.
Kobe.
Thank you.
Hi,
Bye.
thanks everyone.
God bless you.